Hey,
are we well? Hello.
why?
Hello.
Are you okay, Ian?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Cockney?
What do we?
Yeah, brilliant.
I think we should talk about the BBC a little bit, Ian, if you don't mind.
All the smiley girls at the bottom. Well, apart from the one that has the mask, of course.
Smiley culture.
Chinese.
Yeah. Well, what's this about then?
I just went online this morning, just had a look at the news as you do, and front page of the splash was BBC with this. How people are coping with COVID, and straight away the picture got me riled up.
Because of the poor Photoshop montaging. Look at that cutout. They obviously.
I did not even notice on a technical creative level. So yeah, I'm doubly mad now.
I know.
That's 5 different photos. What the fuck are they doing?
I read that they were going to put up the license as well. That's another thing that I read this morning.
Yeah, April, and people are not happy.
No, and they shouldn't pay it either. My mum is over 80 and she should have it free. And now they're badgering her to pay for it. And I just tell my mum not to worry about it, because if they do come and badge out, all I'll say is what's the number and what is the web link to me coming off it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Also, I think that girl with the glasses is quite cute. So there you go. Yeah,
Glasses always help. Gentlemen,
can you see why I'm slightly mad with it?
What? Because there's no men features on there.
Yeah, so it's yeah, indeed, it's all about women. No, ideally,
I think Mega Geek's right though. We should do the toxic male thing, and the first thing you do instinctively is work out which one you fancy the most.
Yeah, I mean,
Mega Geek's going for, is it number 3 or number 4 with the glasses?
I like the one in front, the one that I think
number
she's quite
3.
cute. Yeah,
all
but
right, I'll take 2.
I'll have them all.
But you know what? It does. I mean, who cares? Everybody knows what the BBC is doing anyway. Anyone with a brain, that is. And it really doesn't matter to me anymore, because I'm done with the BBC. I'm done with everything that the BBC does now. And quite frankly, about 10 years ago, I was a huge supporter of the BBC. I believed it was very English and it belongs in England and it should stay. But now they're just going completely the other way, pissing off a lot of people, sending out surveys, trying to figure out why we don't like them. It's obvious why we don't like them.
Data-driven.
Yeah, so, they can kiss my ass now. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I think there was a word that described the BBC up until about maybe 8 years ago. Everybody thought it was an institution.
And now they need to institutionalise it.
Yeah, people probably moaned a little bit about license fee, but as I've said before, you got good value for money. But when they started lecturing and ticking boxes, it was slow for people to catch on, wasn't it, Ian? Obviously, sorry.
The thing is, though, that they were always heading in that way. They were always going to get to this point, because, as I said, even when I was 17 and I was trying to get into the BBC, majority of departments that, look, no disrespect to anyone, but there are a lot of gay people that work at the BBC, and it became, I don't know how to describe it, but became kind of biased because of that way of thinking.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it was very racist as well. So it naturally has come to this point, and it was the Me Too movement that actually gave the green light for them to completely a feminine agenda, woke driven.
And
And
who's the
that's
head
where
of the
we are.
Me Too stuff? J.J. Abrams, Mrs.
Well, his wife, but well, that's really neither here or there. We're talking about the BBC, and the BBC
Yeah.
has definitely gone to a point where nobody really likes them anymore, and it's a shame, really, because at one point they used to be a really great broadcasting company, organization, should I say?
Yeah, we used to
Yeah.
watch BBC TV pretty much all the time,
Yeah,
and don't watch it now. We laughed and joked many months ago when I kind of first started doing this on, I think it was Dan's channel, about bargain hunt, going woke. And
Is that rhyming slang for something?
even bargain hunt has gone woke.
yeah.
Shit.
Look, I don't know, mate. I mean, they can do what they want. I don't really care about the BBC, and quite frankly, the BBC's realizing a lot of people don't care about them because, look, I mean, they're still ignoring the elephant in the room, especially when Davies talks about what's wrong with the BBC. They're still not mentioning this stupid, woke, stupid feminine agenda. They're not publicly mentioning it, which means I can only mean one thing, that they're going to carry on with this, and therefore, it's going to fall. Well, here's hoping it falls. Whether it fall or not, it's another matter.
To me, this picture just says it all.
Well, as I said,
I'd like to have seen a man on there.
Yeah, but
is it not affecting men, this COVID stuff around the world? Is it just specifically certain age groups and genders?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't care what they do anymore, and a lot of people don't care. And, there's a lot of, as I understand, there's a lot of normies out there that don't see what's going on. And even if you do tell them, they'll find it very hard to believe. But
I think they're waking up now.
We'd like to think that.
It's the photoshopping. I mean, look, the light sources are all different.
I'd agree with that.
And look, one looks like she should be behind number two, either that or she's too small. She could fit in number two's pocket. There's no sense of perspective, which in a way is a metaphor for the BBC. They've lost all sense of perspective, haven't
no
they?
changing of levels. Just try and get the brightnesses similar. It's just and whoever's doing it's probably earning a shitload of money.
Exactly. Numbers 3 and 4 are too flat. Number 2, exactly. They put the levels right up. What you want to do with your levels is put it on a separate adjustment layer so you can change the opacity or duplicate it. You know what I mean? And then stick it in a nice little folder. They don't know what they're doing, the Muppets.
They don't. On every level, I get angry.
But why? I don't understand the picture. I mean, why? I mean, they're talking about COVID, right? So why isn't there pictures of people sick in beds and why do we have 5 women of different? Well, they look like they're different races.
3 and 4
all
the same
smiling
bird,
as well. All smiling.
Yeah, but why do we have this picture? It makes no sense.
Yeah, what's the context? I can't.
Yeah.
On my tiny screen, I can't. What's the caption say? 5 badly photoshopped women not together.
It's the story is basically how to cope in a winter lockdown from those who've done it. Yeah,
I mean, it's a bit of a local story.
So straight away, there's 5. So straight away, there's only 5 types who have done it. Coincidentally, they're all female, but there you go.
No, but look like they're in winter, do they? They're all wearing spring summer clothes.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're going around each country.
Oh,
so
I see.
Obviously, you've got China.
Oh, so that's the woman that's there then, like the woman in that picture. That's her.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
Right. Yilang's top winter lockdown tips: apply hand cream straight after using hand sanitizer. Yeah, I must admit that was, when we first went on lockdown and we had to wash our hands all the time. That was pretty bad. So
no, I realized that was stupid in the first place. So I only washed my hands when I had to wash my hands.
Oh no, this advice, Mr. Fauci in the US is going. Oh, we don't know if I won't do the accent. If 2 masks are more effective than 1, but wear 2 masks. It's your Johnny 2 mask. Wear 3 masks. Wear 15 masks. Don't.
Okay, Anna from Russia.
Asian.
Top tips: buy some house plants. Learn a new skill. Air your home.
Breathing through your elbows.
Yeah, I must admit this house could do with airing because Norway.
Ah, the
She's-
cute one.
Ah,
You
so
and
they
two
are
glasses.
actually. Oh, that the contextualizes the bad Photoshop. They're actually 5 real people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not. That's why it's not a stock shot. Oh, penny dropping. Okay, at least it makes sense.
Ida's top tips: get a winter wardrobe, light candles, candles.
Why not heavy candles?
Try take notice of nature. Well, it's hard to,
Oh, look, there's
hard to
nature.
ignore it today because we've got the beast from the east.
Yeah,
Right,
but
okay,
why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this? I mean, I don't want
No.
to give any attention to the BBC at
No.
all, and I didn't give a shit about what's going on in
Right.
the BBC's world. They, it's their world. Let them live in it. Do you know
You
what
are
I mean?
correct. We will finish off on that. The picture annoyed me, and you are right. It's their world, so yes, we'll leave it
know.
on that then. We'll leave. Thank you, sir.
It's just a waste of my time. That's
It
all.
is. I know.
So we've got much more important pop culture issues to discuss. Come on now.
It just, as I said, Ian, it just pisses me off how it just that picture says it all for me.
But it shouldn't.
They-
It shouldn't piss you off.
They wonder.
That's
They
the
wonder.
thing.
They wonder why. But anyway.
I saw something on Twitter today, and I can't remember the lady's name, but she was doing a speech, and she
Yeah.
said, "No one has the right to live their lives being protected from offence or from insult or from hurt feelings. It's an
Yeah.
occupational hazard of living in society,"
Yep.
which is absolutely right.
on.
Absolutely right. Yeah. I think it's Anne Whitcomb that said it.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Oh, controversial.
yeah, but it's true.
She got it right today.
She got it right. Yeah, she really got it right. So
Because it's a bit of a double standard to think otherwise. She's right, because we're all roughly the same age, growing up in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
Had to put up with a lot of bullying, abuse, and that's just the teachers. So
It's just life, isn't it? I can't understand
Exactly.
why.
You got to be tough when you're a kid, but you got to be soft when you're an adult. I don't think so. Yeah, everyone is too soft. Get over it, everyone.
but
Sorry.
I'm just saying this is the way the world's going, and it's a shame that's the way it's going. But you know what? We're of age. When it takes hold fully, we won't be alive. We'll be dead. So at the end of the day, it won't matter to us. But for our relatives, for my sister's kids and my sister's sister's kids, it's gonna. Hopefully somebody will stop it in its tracks so that they don't have to suffer anymore, because the right to speak and the right to speech, if they get rid of that, then the world's in trouble, especially the Western world. Yeah.
Freedom of speech is important. You don't want to be getting blocked, for example. Sam Ace Rothstein.
You saw it.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Are you from the?
That's from the stream the other night, which you never looked up, did you?
The casino. Your casino spot now, are you? You're running a logical casino.
15, I'm making sure there's 15 blueberries in each muffin.
He was logical, to be fair. He was like a Vulcan. That's why he knew that those two slot machines couldn't both pay out in the same minute, because it's like, well, either he's an idiot or he's in on it. Again, well-meaning idiot or evil genius. But
do you think
it cannot happen? So
do you think Vulcans are the ultimate OCDers?
They must be if they're logical, aren't they? Yeah, they like to get their spaceships in a row, don't they?
I guess, but Vulcans don't exist. They're just made up, aren't they?
What? Hey?
What?
Suspension of disbelief destroyed. Oh,
on that bombshell, I think we'll end it here.
That's central. That is. Yeah, not just the broadcast, everything.
Speaking of aliens,
that is actually going to be a segue.
Speaking of aliens, Ian, did you watch the new Resident Alien?
No,
episode?
Because over here that plays on Friday. And it doesn't yet, because I looked when you told me first that the third episode was out, and I looked on Sky. First of all, it's not playing on Sci-Fi over here. It's literally playing on Sky Atlantic. Yeah. And on my Sky, it hasn't played. The third episode hasn't played yet. So
I watched it again.
In this modern world, have you still got like regional TV in England, like Tyne's TV here?
We
on
do,
yeah.
Central?
Not in London. We have ITV, and then we have, I guess, connected to ITV, they have regions. Like, so for instance, if you're watching
still got
ITV, if you're watching ITV on HD, then they go, we're gonna swap. They in the news they say, well, let's talk to our regions, and then it goes blank, the HD. So you have to go to the other channel to see that borough where they're talking about that borough, that segment. Yeah, it's really weird how they do
they
that.
still have Thames TV with that great?
No. All those kind of franchises gone. Yeah,
it's
but
gone.
They have
find it on YouTube. I love it. It just triggers memories, doesn't it?
They
it
have
does.
It can be so
some of
good
the
for
regional
you.
newsrooms.
Yeah, they do regional. Yeah.
And I think they kind of downsized some of them. So Yorkshire now would cover wherever, kind of Yorkshire, would cover separate areas. But 20 years ago, you had your individual channels, didn't you, playing individual content? But obviously it must be cost savings and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. It's very different now, though. It's very, very different now. Channel 4 is completely different to the way it was when it first started. I've never watched Channel 5, to tell you the truth, ever. So I don't really know
watch it all the time.
like it. Oh, do you?
Yeah, we can't. BBC, we can't stand it. BBC Two, every now and again they've got the stuff like Country File and the kind of the BBC docu stuff, which is quite good. ITV, not really. Channel 4, don't touch it. We like Channel 5 basically. Yeah,
I think it's really strange how both channels, BBC and Channel 4, try to be hip, but doesn't matter. In their nature is not to be hip, Channel 4 and BBC, and they don't realize that. So Channel 4 opened up E4, and obviously they brought in a lot of stuff from America, and they made their own shows. There's one show about a fat girl. I can't remember what that was called. The Adventures of a Fat Girl or something like that.
Ugly Betty.
I can't remember that. But no, I'm not. No, it wasn't Ugly Betty. It was a British show, and it was about this really big girl. I say fat, and I don't mean that horribly. She was she was very, very weighty, and I can't remember what the show's called. And I think they went for 2 seasons with that.
Was it if it's a comic book movie? Was it Fat Slags?
No.
Oh, sorry,
no.
Hail gents in the chat.
If somebody knows, then somebody should tell us. But they went for 2 seasons with that thing. I mean, it was a success, but all the successes that a Channel 4 had in their E4 range, when it's compared to American success or some of the big successes that BBC's had, it's nothing really compared to them. But they've tried, and so did the BBC tried. But unfortunately now, because the Netflix and Amazon sneakily creeped up in the broadcasting world and literally given them a beating, all the stuff they've done has really, nobody remembers it. And as I said, I hardly watched the BBC. The only time I watched the BBC once was at Christmas time, just to see their ident, and that was it. And that was last Christmas. So
because I want to see a bit more.
You've still not seen Doctor Who yet, then?
No, I don't. When I, this is the thing about people, right? And well, for me personally, I can speak for myself. When I say I'm not going to watch something and I don't agree,
you stick to it.
I stick to it. There's no point in.
My point is, Dan has not asked you yet. Then.
No, I don't. Well, Dan, no, he hasn't, and he's already done his thing on the podcast. Yeah, he's done it on the podcast. But I, even if he did, I would and ah about it, because Doctor Who. I don't know about you guys, but Doctor Who really has what they've done is broken my heart. And I don't, when you have a girlfriend, she breaks your heart. You don't want to go back, do you? You don't want to go back.
Julia.
What's the point?
Well, I disagree. I do want to go back, but then there you go.
No, but you see, I've done it. It's you're asking for trouble, isn't it? It's not going to be any better, is it? Whether it's Julia or Doctor Who.
It's false gold. Right. That's what it is. It's fool's gold. You know what I mean? It looks all gleamy and nice and stuff like that, but it's not real gold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what it is.
Food. Yeah, you're looking for something that it was gold once, but now it's fool's gold. You can't
Yeah.
go back. It's changed. It's like the BBC itself. It's not what it was. You can't go back. You can watch the BBC, but it's not the old BBC or Star Trek or any of these things. It's just the same in name only. Like
Mm.
Julia, she was still called Julia, but she wasn't the same Julia that I went out with.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a long time ago.
I have asked Alan Tudyk several times if he would come on here.
Why would he come on here?
Well, exactly. And that exactly, but I'm still going to keep asking.
Busy.
Because I've noticed that all the supporting cast have done tons of YouTube videos and interviews, and I've noticed by the amount of views of those videos, and they are some the YouTube channels are quite big. I don't think people have cottoned on to Resident Alien yet. I think
the trailer.
I think they're.
You lot.
I think everything's one division at the moment, and I think they're kind of missing the real gem of TV at the moment.
But the thing is,
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just there's so much shite on. You'd think that if there's two good programs on, where will we find the time?
Everybody's wanting to watch Disney.
I mean, I've not watched one. I got halfway through WandaVision 4, and I've not got round to the rest because, it could be one of the themes for today. Just too busy getting stuff in my face with burgers.
While WandaVision is good, it's got its flaws, but and
its ceilings.
Yes, I'm with you, Ian. Resident Alien is where it's at the moment.
Yeah, there are some really great shows that get under the radar and disappear. Like, for instance, as I said, you guys don't know Psych, and Psych is a really good show, and that's been running for X amount of years, and it's still going. But yet, when people talk about pop culture, they don't mention Psych and other shows as well. Like I don't know. Blake Seven now has come in. People are talking a lot about Blake Seven. That's one of them. And now I'm sad to hear that Red Dwarf might be no more, which
is
very sad.
Yeah, The Lawyers, not good, is it?
Well, here's hoping they resolve their problems, because when it comes to friends and stuff. I had a partner, and he's died sadly. I had a business partner, and when my company dispersed, there was a big argument about who owned what and stuff like that. So it does happen, but at the end of the day, okay, it takes time. It takes time to come to terms with how stupid you are. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And friendship is stronger than it should be, stronger than the stupid petty things that you argue about. If you're a good friend, if you're a good friend, you'll realize that. That's the thing. But I tell you one thing about me is that if I have done nothing wrong, or I have said nothing wrong, and somebody blames me for something I've never done, I will never ever relent. I would stick to my guns, even if it means costing me a friendship. That's what I would do, and that's what I've always done. So
you got to stick up yourself. Truth is truth. You don't want to get blamed for stuff, basically.
Here you go, guys, in the chat. Lord of the Eagles reaches.
Hello, Slavko, by the way.
Try saying that after a few pints. Hail, sir. Hail, gents. Resident Alien is good. I thought Psych was finished. I liked that show.
It is finished, but they doing one-offs every year, Christmas one-offs. So they've done 2 so far. The last one wasn't very good because one of the main characters had a heart attack, and the first time they did the one-off, he wasn't involved in it, and he plays a big part of the show. He had a heart attack. So when they did the second one,
right,
it was focused on him, and it wasn't very good because I think they spent too much time on him and actually relating the story to what really happened to him in real life. So in my opinion, it did. I think that was a mistake, instead of sticking to what they know and what they do best. But it is out there. If you're looking for it, it is. You can download it. Yeah.
And how long did you say that's been going for?
I think it went for 7 seasons, and it went. Right. I think it over 10 years, definitely. But they turn up to comic conventions and stuff like that, and and they have a huge fan base. But as I said, if you were to lay down all the pop culture things that in the world, Psych would be kind of not there, if you know what I mean, because it's not as popular as Star Trek or Star Wars or
So
or other
definitely-
shows.
Definitely under
Doctor
the
Who.
radar then.
It is, and same thing with a Resident Alien. It's under the radar as far as I can tell. So,
Yeah.
and also Banshee. If you mention Banshee to people, they won't know what that is at all.
Yep.
How
know,
are you?
so
How are you getting on
you're
with
right.
Banshee?
I'm still on third episode.
Right.
No, on the episode where he fights that prize fighter, and he beats the crap out of him
Right.
because he basically forced himself on one of the girls, and I don't know if you remember that episode. And he
Oh,
breaks his fingers. That was really
Oh.
horrible. That scene where he's
Oh.
fighting him and stuff.
that was a
But,
good fight. That was.
Yeah, it was. It was. But that's what I'm saying. It's Banshee is an old-fashioned male.
Oh yeah.
Male-driven TV show, and I'm talking about toxic male hair. He's
That's why
very
it's so
much,
good.
yeah, he's very much-
Testosterone.
yeah, he's very much a guy that we kind of. Well, I don't hail him, but he does the right thing at the end of the day. Even if he uses extreme violence to do it.
Here you go. Lord of the Eagles reaches. He knows where it's at.
Mm.
Banshee was crazy, very entertaining. Even better the second time round because you just pick up on certain things.
I've
Do you know-
got to get those 2 seasons. First,
You have. The one thing that's good about Banshee is it doesn't discriminate. It shows you the hero is someone that's very, very flawed and
Yeah.
has an anger issue, but also is very, very centered. He knows what to do, and he makes no hesitation to do it. And also the women, right? So you have all the women are really good looking, right? As far as
Carrie Underwood, yes.
yeah, but some of the women are real slags in there. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And so the show is showing you two sides to women. You got nice women, you got slags, and this exists in the world. And I remember shows used to be like they used to show different facets of different characters, whether they're
Yeah.
male
Donna
or female.
Hall complex.
Yeah, and now today, all the women are perfect. They don't go through any struggle. I was watching Az's review on Equalizer. Did you see it? It sounds
No.
terrible. He went through the first episode. It literally sounds awful. Yeah,
Maybe we should watch it.
with
What,
Queen
the review
Latifah.
or the show?
I don't want to watch the show. Why
Yeah,
should
well,
I?
I think it goes back
Maybe
to
we
what
could
you were
do a
saying,
show
Lady
where
Dick. If it's shite, why watch it?
Exactly.
maybe we could do a show reviewing episode 1 of Iwawuwu's Equalizer
Equalizer.
compared to Queen
That means we'd
Latifah's.
have to watch that, and I
Does it
don't really want to
compare
watch
to-
it.
But there's 3 equalizers, though, aren't there?
Yes.
So we have to watch the
Denzel
other
gets an
one too.
honourable mention though because it wasn't
Denzel
all that bad.
Washington.
To be fair,
The thing is, though, with the movie version, the first one, his color wasn't in question, but in the second one, they
didn't
played
even
a
cross
lot.
my mind. Yeah.
They played a lot on the color with the guy that was mentoring and stuff like that. So, which I found okay, but at the end of the day, it was only a small segment of the film, and then it went back to him beating crap out of people and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a different version of the Equalizer, but it still stuck to purely what the Equalizer is all about. This Queen Latifah one doesn't look like it's sticking to any of the original, or they are, but they're using a woman in the way that really, she's just. It just doesn't make any sense, really
It's-
doesn't.
You can compare them, call it 3 unequal equalizers. Equalizer inequality.
All things equal. All things being equal.
All things being equalizer.
I think the problem is I would not have a problem with Queen Latifah beating shit out of people as long as it wasn't the Equalizer, because it just seems easy to steal. It's just lazy writing.
No, it's not. It's they're making these people are making a statement that they're here to correct the rights in the world. They think they're correcting the rights in the world by
They should be correcting wrongs. That's their problem straight away.
yeah.
Fixing right. Look, that's right.
So they're
Look, we can fix it and
correcting
break it.
Edward Woodward. There you go.
No, okay. The way they see it, right, and they can
Not you,
correct me.
Siri.
They can correct me. They can correct me if I'm wrong. The way they see it is that years and years of TV had black people and women in bit parts. Now it's
Right.
their turn. But the thing they're doing wrong is they're not creating original content. What they're doing is they're literally destroying what was in the past to make something new. And in other words, what they're eradicating the history of the past by going through pop culture and doing it that way, because they can't obviously do it in real life, so they're doing it that way, and that's what they're doing, and that's destructive. Instead of doing the right thing, instead of doing the right thing and creating a character for Queen Latifah, an original character, and moving that way.
That's why I do like Banshee, because the women in that are women, but they're also well written. And what's her name?
The women,
Carrie Underwood can go around kicking shit out of people.
Yeah, but the women, it's still, you got to suspend your disbelief. There's that scene in it where she's training with that guy. She goes into a warehouse. I don't know if you remember the scene, and this guy attacks her, this bald-headed guy, and he starts fighting her. And then they stop, and he goes, "Oh, you're right." And she goes, "You're fine. Let's carry on." And he realizes she's training, but there's no way that she could do the things that she did to that guy. Because I used to do martial arts a long time ago, and I know that even a woman of that size cannot do that to that person unless she's, she's what's her name from God, you know what? I'm so old. From
Fat Flags.
We all are, mate.
I know from Mandalorian. Who's the girl in Mandalorian?
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano. If you look at her, you can tell that she can do that stuff because of the way she looks, and very, very pretty face, nice bod and all that. But you can tell she can do that.
She could
but this girl, Carrie Underwood, she's very wiry. She's tall. You can tell she used to be a model. Now she's an actor. But then again, you suspend your disbelief. And fine.
She has got a skill set which you will find out.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm going to find out, aren't I, if I keep watching? So.
Yeah, if you watch it.
Lord of the Eagles Reaches, The Expanse is how you do. Yeah.
But don't mention Kessembar.
Oh, I you know what? I watched the first season of Expanse and it didn't really catch me, so I stopped watching it.
Wow! Oh no!
Yeah, I've got to start with season 2. Kind of after season 1, I thought, I'm like you, kind of not feeling it.
No, I wasn't feeling it.
Wow!
But it's okay.
It's taste, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It is taste, isn't it? Like my brother doesn't like Star Trek. He thinks it's rubbish. He likes Star Wars better, but that's his prerogative.
Well, going back to Doctor Who, when Matt Smith left, I watched the first Peter Capaldi episode, and
deep breath.
I didn't feel it.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with me as well.
Didn't feel it, so I rested it.
Go on,
Cockney. I just say it really brings up that whole taste, subjective, objective thing. Because on the one end, I can't force anyone to like something or dislike something, but on the other hand, I just think the Expanse is just the for me, just an opinion, my taste or my take on it, my take on my taste. Best thing on TV this millennium, at least for solid first 3 seasons. As you know, it can't play the 4th one, so I don't know about the 4th one. Apparently the 5th one's gone completely tits up, but I can't comment on that because I haven't seen it. But the first 3, brilliant. It's that subjective, objective thing. If you're not into what it does, that's the tasting. But I think as objectively as you can go, no plot holes, good acting, good direction, amazing space battles, pew pew pew, just good tension. Surprises galore, woke in a good way in that it's got diversity, but not for the sake of it. It's also realistic for the context. It's in the future where hopefully everyone will be more diverse because there'll be more mixtures of people. And any kind of identity politics are done via metaphor and allegory, i.e. Belters, Martians and humans. No actual, traditional, boring human quote-unquote races. But if you don't like it, I beg you to watch it again. But of course, you've given it a go. If you watched the whole season, if it didn't take, it didn't take.
I will watch it.
Best thing out there. Best thing out there.
I'm probably like Ian. I just need to make sure the time's right for me to start watching it again.
I mean, it is a slow burn. It is a slow burn. It took a while for me, but once it gets its hooks into you, there's just. All I can say is there's a scene in season 2 that is it's not even a season closer, and for me it's just one of the most powerful scenes that I've ever seen in any scene in any TV show, movie, or anything. It just totally gripped me. I even shed a little tear. So that's how powerful it was.
It's there's so much stuff out there, and plus when you couple that with life, the ins and outs of life, it's really hard. That's why it's so important for a TV show through concept and through the first episode to grip you. If it doesn't grip you, then you're not watching. You kind of hum and ah if you want to watch the second episode. And
to be fair, if you've given it a whole season, can't really argue with that.
With regards Who, I just think the BBC maybe should have rested it at that point.
The mistake, I keep saying this, right, and a lot of people disagree with me, and it's fine, they can disagree with me, but freedom of speech is very important, so that's why I say it. So I always say that the BBC failed at that point because it literally made itself in America, and America loved Doctor Who up to that point. So so David Tennant started it off, and America was noticing it at that moment. Then Matt came in, and he was all over America, and America loved Doctor Who at that point. But then they made the mistake of casting Peter, and Peter's a brilliant actor, and he's a great Doctor. But unfortunately, people did not want to see an old Doctor again. That was the mistake they made. It turned a lot of people off.
So that was the key issue then, right? Okay.
For me, not so much, but I know a lot of my friends, and I know my sister, who was a big fan of Matt and David, decided not to watch because this guy was old and they couldn't connect with him.
Well, going to the chat, Lord of the Eagles, Capaldi should have been a great Doctor, but the writing let him down big time.
Yes. Absolutely.
Seems to be a big theme. I hear that very consistently.
I watched the Capaldi stuff on catch up probably 2-3 years after he started, and I thought he was a great Doctor.
He is, but the stories are rubbish. I'm sorry, Deep Breath was so ridiculously bad. The first, I saw that in the cinema because they released it in the cinema the same time they played it on the BBC. So I saw it in the cinema, and I was so disappointed with it. I was like, "You got this Doctor running around, and he does nothing. He basically falls asleep in bed, and then he runs around in his pajamas, meets some tramp in the thing, and it's just the whole thing. And then we focus on the gay guy, the gay woman with the gay detective. And I'm thinking, why are we focusing on this? Is called Doctor Who, is it not? And that was the start of its downfall. That they first of all, they cast the wrong person at that moment in time, which is Capaldi, which, as I keep saying, he's a brilliant actor. He was a brilliant Doctor. Second thing is they focused more on the gay stuff and the sexuality of the characters.
Was it Billy? Who
cares?
Something like
that. And third of all, logically, it didn't make any sense. You had this woman who looked like a reptile in London, and nobody mentions he looks like a reptile. And then you have that little potato head fella that was the
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, they had no explanation why this Santoran. What's his name? No, what was the species?
Is it the Santoran?
The little guy.
I'm just going. I'm picturing literally.
I don't know.
Potato Head.
You know, the butler.
That was the Matt Lucas character, wasn't it?
No.
Oh,
Mark has 5. Ulrika has 2.
In Deep Breath.
Oh,
George Dawes.
The center. Oh God, I can't look. That's how crap I am at Doctor Who. Basically, he was one of the villains, and suddenly he's a servant to the scaly woman's servant. Oh God, what's his name? Drax. Do you know when you remember a Deep Breath, right? The first episode that Capaldi was in.
That was the Dalek one, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was the one where he's in London and that dinosaur's running around. Do you remember that? The first episode Peter was in.
I remember the dinosaur, but I can't remember a lot about it.
Oh, for God's sake. Come on, either. All about.
Sorry.
Deep Breath.
Thing is, I watched all the Capaldi stuff on catch up while I was on my turbo trainer on the push bike. So
You
I
obviously
wanna-
didn't because
Well-
you don't remember that episode.
I would have been peddling like fuck while I was watching it.
Well, do you know what? It's so long since I've watched Doctor Who that I
Hello?
Has it gone?
No.
Sorry, it's still
Ugh.
there. I pressed the wrong button. So long since I've watched Doctor Who, I can't even remember who the Doctor was.
Anyway, on 40 minutes they fucked it up.
Oh, what have I done?
What's the I'm trying to find out the guy's name. Series 7, Doctor Who regenerates in Victorian London.
Hello,
what a
over.
surprise.
Am I there?
We can hear you, yeah.
Yeah. What a surprise, Victorian London. BBC
Well
seems to have a hard on for Victorian London all the time.
They must have a set or something that's specially built.
It's just ridiculous. The BBC is so ridiculous. It just annoys me most of the time. And they still haven't gotten out of that. But anyway, yeah. Victoria London Clara Oswald struggles to embrace the new man the Doctor has become. All the while they reunite with the
Hello, Cockney.
what is it? Peter Monston gang
I got
investigating.
kidnapped by Doctor Who. Sorry.
It's just, as I said, it's just absolutely.
Oh, here we go. Chat coming through for us. Dan Starkey
Direct to
Strax.
the rescue.
Strax, that's it. Remember Strax? He's the little potato head
I was trying to tell
fella.
you, it's Strax.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The
Why?
spud.
Why?
The spud.
So he was trying to kill the Doctor at one point, or their race was trying to kill the Doctor at one point. Why is he now dressed like a servant to the detective woman? Why? There's no explanation for that at all.
He's the one who has a very posh accent, isn't he? If I remember right.
No, he's a little potato head
Yeah,
guy.
no, he had a posh accent.
Oh, I'm looking
Well,
this
not
up.
really.
I've got 2 devices in the internet. I'm going to do it.
But that's what I'm
taking
saying. To me, the story was just absolute bollocks. And how could a T-Rex be as big as Big Ben? They weren't that big. You know what I mean? It's just little things like that. It was just so slow and dull and boring.
And that was Moffat who was writing that, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
Muppet
Moffat lost
sounds
it.
like.
He'd lost it then. Then you had the
Really?
Robin Hood one was absolute bollocks as well. And then don't even get me started on the Christmas episode with
Yeah.
I think
Dan
we've opened up a
Starkey
tin of
is-
worms here.
But it
Dan
is this.
Starkey is Strax, king of the.
That's it.
Okay, and look, he's dressed as a butler. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. There's no explanation for that. Suddenly he's just as a butler.
It hurts you, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't hurt me. Basically,
Do you know what he looks like? He looks like Oddjob on a bad trip.
yeah, he
What the
does.
fuck?
He does. He does. He's missing the hat.
Fucking hell, you wouldn't take a cup of tea off him, would you?
No,
What the hell?
But I'm just saying, logic in Doctor Who. Doctor Who's fault was always the scripts. Always the scripts. You know, as far as I was concerned, it was very childish. Most of the stuff they write is childish. You know, and as I said, the mistake they're making is that they say, "Oh, Doctor Who is that kids show." It's not a kids show anymore because the kids that were watching it in the 70s have grown up to be us, and we're the ones that keep Doctor Who alive.
Like with
And-
Star Wars, yeah, they should be clear about who it's for, and ideally, it should be for everyone.
This idea of trying to invite the next generation to like stuff that we liked, yes, a very small minority will get it,
Yes.
but the huge minority of the youth of today, right, is basically looking at their phones and playing computer games. That TV doesn't interest them anymore, and then when they
No.
do watch TV, they watch 5 minutes and they're looking at their phone, or they're off playing a computer game. So this is what they have to. They don't realize that. That's the problem with them.
I think when it came back, and then there was Eccleston, and then there was Tennant, wasn't there?
Yes.
I think it was so well written and so kind of everybody on their mobile phones that it was basically a family watch, wasn't it?
No, it was when Eccleston came out. There was mobile phones, but they weren't smartphones.
Yeah,
So,
that's
you
what
know,
I'm saying. It was a decent family watch for people.
Yeah,
to
I
watch.
mean,
Yeah.
it was. I mean, but the thing is, though, it huge ratings. The first episode of Doctor Who with Chris Eccleston. The reason why it was huge ratings is because it was people like us
Yeah.
that at that moment in time, a small majority of newcomers was watching
Yeah.
it, and then it grew because
Yes.
the series wasn't half bad. It wasn't great, but it
Yeah.
wasn't half bad.
Yeah.
And then they destroyed all that by putting Capaldi in, because the new people that liked New Who wasn't used to seeing an old Doctor. We were, because we saw Hartnell,
Yes.
we saw John Pertwee,
Yeah.
you know, saw the
Baker.
second Doctor, Baker and stuff like. We
Yeah.
were used to that. But these new people, they say they saw the good-looking Tennant and the equally big-chinned Matt Smith, who wasn't
Yeah.
really good look, but he had a look that you could warm
Oh
to.
yeah, people liked him because as
Yeah,
I've
and then they decided to go backwards by putting an old Doctor
as
in,
I've
and that's
yeah
failed.
as I've said before on here, when the 50th was at the cinema, it was full of old people, dads, mums, kids. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was just such a winning formula, and I think they'd got it spot on.
And I think sometimes, you know, you had Moffat that made the decision to cast Peter, and it is a great decision because Peter's a really good actor and he was in movies and stuff like that. But sometimes you could be in that circle and you can't see out of it. And because we're fans, and because I'm a fan that doesn't take everything and like it. Do you know what I mean? I'm a fan that questions stuff, and you know, because I'm a fan, I could see the mistake they're making. They probably couldn't see it, but I could see that Capaldi was not going to be good for going forward because he was an old guy. You know, I'm not a young guy.
If Matt Smith had have stayed an extra year, where do you think we'd be at now?
The thing is, though, we would have been still in the same situation, I guess, because they'll still have brought in the woke stuff.
Right.
And woke stuff was creeping into Matt Smith's era. I don't think Matt or David should have left when they left, to tell you the truth. I think David should have stayed a bit longer, and I think Matt should have stayed a bit longer.
What about Christopher Eccleston?
Christopher Eccleston had a problem with I think Russell T in the end and the BBC. They blacklisted him. That's why he never did anything for the BBC after that.
Whoa.
But Chris Eccleston,
what happened?
Nobody would say. He had a disagreement with. That's why he only did one season. He was planned to do more seasons than that. But also, looking back at it, when you look at Chris Eccleston as the Doctor, I still think he was kind of slightly wrong for the Doctor. He didn't get the humor at all.
I'd say that. Yeah, but maybe the second season would have. And because he was up for doing it, wasn't he?
Well, in my head canon, you know that film 24-Hour Party People?
Yeah.
And you know Christopher Eccleston's got that like 1 minute cameos, that homeless man reincarnated Botheus. I just like to think that's Doctor Who, basically.
Go on, Colin. Sorry.
Well, just that whole thing about it's my belief that history is a wheel. Inconsistencies, my very essence, says the wheel. Rise up on my spokes if you like. I'm not reading this, or if you like, but don't complain when you're cast back down into the depths. Good times pass away, but then so do the bad. Mutability is our tragedy, but it's also our hope. The worst of times, like the best of times, are always passing away. I'm like, yes, Doctor Who. That's just me, though. Headcanon.
Cruel Birab. As fans, there is the assumption within studios that they can put out any old crap and expect us to lap it up.
Yeah, how dare they? How very dare they? But they do, don't they?
Very dare they.
They're getting lazy. Like
it's not. Look, if I was the showrunner of Doctor Who, I'd know what time to leave, because when you're running, if you
5 o'clock every day.
Well, that too. But when you run out of ideas and you're struggling to bring about another episode or another season, that's when you know it's time to leave. And I guess Moffat felt that. He needed to go. He knew he needed to go, but he outstayed his welcome. That's why the episodes and the show running for Capaldi season was terrible. Plus, I get the feeling that he was under pressure by the BBC to actually have those kind of things in the show. There's a mandate, I think, that you have to abide by, and so I think it was
interference.
Yeah.
Because they know how to do your program better than you.
Well, it's not. For Channel 4 to exist, there were mandates and rules that channel had rules. So, for instance, with Channel 4, I believe there's a section in Channel 4. The reason why it exists, it has to help the community of England. So within their structure, there's a rule that they have to include this and that, and have percentage that we represent gay people in the world, we represent the minority in the world, we represent small boroughs. Yeah. And different places like Yorkshire and Manchester and stuff like that. So there were, before the channel could exist, the government had put out these rules that channel should abide by. So now you understand why they do make shows that people really are not interested in, because those rules exist within the structure of Channel 4 and structure of the BBC. And
so maybe we're going to get a Scouse Doctor Who. All right,
we did.
Mate.
Oh well. Here's hoping not, because
I'm in the police box, but I'm not with the fucking busies.
But yeah, I mean, that is true. That's not a lie. They do have there is rules.
I'm off to that Gallifrey.
But yeah, I mean, that's why we got things like Crossroads when Crossroads is on, because it's meant to represent that. That kind of people that exist in England. In other words, you can't just have every show with upper class, middle class people, talking and that kind of way of looking at life.
I'm a Cockney.
Yeah,
it's like the Fast Show. Lord of the Eagles reaches. There's no nuance or depth anymore. They just want to hit you over the head with their worldview. Douche.
But I'll tell you what's interesting is that when we watch American shows, we love, because we've been basically brainwashed with British shows, that British shows should have a regional accent and we should embrace the regionals and stuff like that, because that's the rule of the channels. When we watch American shows and we see the square-jawed guys and we see the beautiful women and stuff like that, that's the dream. That's the dream to aspire by. That's why I'm so I'm so attracted to American shows, because one, they have the imagination, two, they have the money, and three, they have people that are good looking, because it's a visual medium. Then when you watch British shows and you watch the British cop shows and stuff like that, they always cast some overweight person
bad teeth.
Yeah, you're just like, well, do I want to watch this?
Bad teeth stereotype.
Keeping it real.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then the Americans go, oh, yeah, we really like your shows because you got real people. And we're sitting there going, yeah, but
there's never a happy medium.
Fantasy.
Yeah, we love fantasy, but, they love our
their realism. How about
speaking
fat but good looking as a compromise?
You ever heard that show? Yeah, it's show Vera. There's a detective show called Vera.
Oh, that's what's her face, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's her face?
I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name either. But
in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, there's an advert. There was an advert in the cinema. I can't remember what I was watching, and the advert for Vera came on. And
ITV Studios.
She's walking down the beach, and she's going, "Hello." She's going, you know what I do for a living? I'm a police officer. You never reckon I'm a police officer, do you? Look at the way I look, and she walks up to the guys, and you know what I mean? It's just like, well, do I watch TV for realism? No, not really.
No.
I watch TV to be take away from realism. That's what I watch TV. Yeah, to escape.
The last kind of ITV program I went out of my way to watch was Rob Lowe was a British police commissioner in Norfolk. I forget the name of the. I think there was only 6 episodes.
Did they call it Norfolk Broads?
I forget what he was called, but
for Rob Lowe, that would have been perfect. Norfolk Broads.
Yeah, because it's like
that's
Rob
probably
Lowe,
why he signed up.
Rob Lowe comes to Norwich. I thought, all right, we'll give it a go. And there was 6 episodes.
Are you making this up?
No, I'm not. I can't remember the name of it. It was on ITV last year.
What next? Harrison Ford
and you know what?
Cleethorpes Police.
I genuinely bought into it, and I thought it was all right.
Right,
6
what's it coming?
episodes.
I've got to look this up.
I forget what it's
Rob Lowe.
just look on Rob Lowe.
Norfolk.
But
Rob Lowe, Norfolk. This I've got to see.
yeah,
Oh,
he
glad
was
I've got a
he was an
second device
American
today.
police officer who had some somehow he was able to apply for a job as the British police commissioner for that area.
Oh my God, you're not kidding. Lincolnshire Police Chief. What
Yeah,
the
it was fucking. Listen, guys, I shit you not, guys, in the chat. Check it out. It was genuinely all right. It was genuinely all right. What was the name of the program?
Yeah, what's the name? Cockney. What was it called?
Cockney.
Cockney?
Get it together.
What was it
Elmo's
called?
Fire. I haven't scrolled down yet.
Yeah, St.
I don't
Elmo's
know.
Fire.
Uh,
St.
it's called-
Norridge's.
It's called ITV Drama. No, that's not right.
Oh, come on, stop dicking about. Come on.
I can't help myself. No date has been set for when the show would hit. It never
What's it
happened.
called?
It doesn't say. It's The Guardian. It probably spelt it wrong anyway.
Fuck
No, it's not called Fuck Me.
Could-
That's
could
just
pe-
what he said at the start.
me.
Wild
That's-
Bill
that's
is
a
the
request.
character. Wild Bill.
Could the
No,
people in the
no
chat
title.
find out what it is? Rob Lowe, ITV.
I'll keep looking.
Yeah.
But
Rob
I
Lowe's
mean,
the new sheriff in town. In
They-
what the
they-
fucking
they have
program?
some-
Wild Bill. There you go. Wild
Yeah, that's
Bill.
it. Wild Bill. It was all right. It was
Oh
all
my
right.
God, this lack
It
of
was-
sleep's getting to me. I'm having a bad dream. Aren't
It
I?
was,
Oh, tell
very-
me it's not true.
It was very Americanized with the police action in parts, but I kind of
What, you have a
liked that.
gun?
Yeah, I kind of liked that. It was like
fish
Heartbeat.
out of water.
Yeah, it was like Heartbeat meets Hill Street Blues, and it was all right.
Come on.
It worked.
Rob Lowe's, Bill Hickson, then.
Because I like
Bronwyn
Rob Lowe.
James.
I like Rob
As-
Lowe, but yeah,
Do you like,
it was all right.
Bronwyn James as DC Muriel Yeardley?
Oh, she
in
was
ITV?
ace.
Was she?
She was
Looks like-
ace.
She was too ace.
Much
Yeah,
like,
but they-
much like my
they-
name.
There are some good British shows out there. You know, that's lasted the time. You know, like Doc Martin is a pretty good
Yeah.
show. I remember watching season 1 and 2 of Doc Martin, but then again, life wasn't so busy in those days. You know, so
A man
Remember
playing
that.
a boot.
a man playing a boot.
Doc Martin. No, he was a doctor. but they
Oh
gave him a
dear, oh
boot.
dear.
Don't,
But
Ian,
don't
you know,
encourage it.
it was so big, Doc Martin, that Sigourney Weaver
came
was
in all the
Size
time.
12. Size 12.
Sigourney Weaver was in it, wasn't she?
Was she?
Sigourney
One
Weaver.
episode, yeah,
This
she
is
was in it.
Decaf Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver from Aliens,
Sweet-
she was in it.
I thought it was sugar. Sweet and low Weaver.
Ian,
Sorry,
you're
it's a lack of
stimulating
sleep.
him.
It's a lack of sleep.
But yeah, I mean, you know,
Sorry.
there's some really good British shows out there.
Rob Lowe, come on. I'd like to see the elevator pitch for that one. It's Rob Lowe, all right? It's
He was
the
a.
Ammo's
The
Fire,
thing is, he
but
was
He's
he-
a beat constable.
he was a producer, so I assume it was probably his idea, or somebody approached him.
Hmm.
Oh dear. How much cocaine were they having on that
I think it
meeting?
was. Yeah, it was
Allegedly.
a genuinely decent show.
Might be good. You never know.
I've got to check it out. Someone order me the DVD. Any region.
Ian, I watched Rebecca Gold.
Oh, finally! So it was you and somebody else that watched it.
Why have you had 2 views this week?
No.
Oh, I was the
Yeah.
other one. I got a minute in before the phone rang or whatever happened.
See, there you go. So
I like it.
Cockney Spock is just like the people of today. You know, you can't concentrate too
And
much
that's the
on
thing.
something.
I can't exactly. I'm as bad as the kids, and I'm in my 50s. I've got no excuse, have I?
You're
Very-
worse because you know
No.
you're doing it.
I got a screen reports that you are on your phone 24/7. You muppet. I thought, fuck, I'm even doing it in my sleep. No, I got 5 minutes into Bad Day and 90 seconds into Rebecca Gold. But to be fair, I've been waiting to watch Zulu Dawn. 40 seconds. So you're doing better than them. So,
Everybody in
you
the
know,
chat should watch on Rebecca Gold channel.
I like
Bad
that
Day.
Rebecca Gold.
If you're stuck in lockdown, and it's Beast from the East like it is now, 90 minutes, 110 minutes of your time to watch that. It's a great film. Everybody should watch it. free
good.
as well.
She's very peppy, and then she's giving
Claire
us
Goose from Casualty playing a blinder. I liked the story. I thought it was quite clever in places. Considering I know Ian, I thought it's quite clever for him. A few little
Hang on a
bits
minute.
near the knuckle, which I thought, all right, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. So yes, check it out, everybody in the chat. Bad Day, very good.
I hate to ask what you thought of Rebecca Gold.
Shall we drop it on 1 hour? Right, okay.
Oh, so that's what you thought of it, Courtney.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, I
On
really
1 hour.
liked it. Even though on 1 hour I technically watched more of Bad Day, it was 5 minutes on the nose. I actually like Rebecca Gold even more because she's given that psychologist lip, and I thought it was good banter, and quite frankly, nice belly button. So
There you go. Swap
going
Shop
back for
says
more.
he's going to be watching Rebecca Gold.
Okay.
There are web episodes, aren't they? But there is one combined episode.
Yeah, there's an episode there you can watch all of it
Yeah.
together, like a short film.
Was it about 29 minutes? So 29 minutes of your life, guys. So it's worth it. It's worth it.
No, both worth it.
It's nice of you guys to say, even though you haven't, even though you've only watched 5 minutes of Bad Day.
Yeah, but like I say, for me, that's good. I can't, it was the
Well-
last time I watched the film all the way through in one go.
With Bad Day, I kind of totally bought into it.
Mm.
I'd say, but Bad Day. I mean, unless it changes tone drastically after the first.
And I don't
5
think
minutes,
I looked
it's
at
more-
my phone once while I was watching it.
No, you get straight into it, but I think that's
So,
more of a
yeah.
drama, more gritty,
Yeah.
Well,
more
yeah,
real, more
yeah.
dark. So
Yeah.
Rebecca Gold
I-
seemed a bit lighter, so I was just more in the mood
Re-
for it. But
Rebecca
both
Gold
good in
was-
different ways.
Kind of just bang straight into it.
Yeah.
And I just felt like a little bit of a rabbit in the headlights. Like,
Well, as I said, it was designed.
Yeah.
Sorry, say again. Go on. Go ahead.
It just felt like I was a little bit startled with what was going on so quickly.
Mm.
And I don't want to upset you. I don't know if
Doesn't matter what you say. It really doesn't matter. If you didn't like it, it's fine with me.
That's a true professional.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I didn't hate it.
It's okay.
I think if it had been kind of like maybe, I understand the kind of web episodes and stuff and what
Mm.
I'd have liked to, if it had been a 1 hour episode where there's a little bit more kind of backstory building up and kind of easing yourself into it. I think I'd have probably kind of bought into it a little bit more. Do you understand what I mean? It just kind of looked too much too soon going on.
Well, it's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But I'm not defending it or anything like that because obviously it's a very low budget show, and we shot it over a year because nobody was getting paid. So I mean, that's no excuse. If you didn't like it, that's fine with me. But the idea of the show.
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying, if people didn't like it, it's fine. But the reason why it's so fast is because it was made for the people of today. So before I made it, I realized that people don't watch more than 5 minutes on YouTube, especially when it comes to drama. So everything had to. Everything it was like
the case for me.
That's just confirmed what I said then, isn't it?
But I tell
so
you what, though,
it's
with Bad
like
Days-
speed dial, right? So when you watch Rebecca Gold, everything's like for instance, the first scene where she walks into the psychiatrist's place, the lines are "You're late, you're old." That immediately tells you the relationship between the psychiatrist and her. So it's all speed dial because I know that people don't watch stuff. They don't have the patience to watch and learn and grow with the character. So it's all about speed dialing when you watch Rebecca Gold.
Get
It's
straight in.
trying to tell you what those characters are from the word go. You know what I mean? So
No, I tell you what, with Bad Day, I might have only watched 5 minutes, but it's memorable because first of all, I won't do the spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it, but you're getting straight into a bit of thriller style drama. But then you're going into more domestic drama, and even like the specifics. Maybe it's like being a parent, especially a divorced parent. But even with the whole, that they're having that argument, and it's like, the kid's crying. Oh, she's always crying, and then
Yeah.
oh, you went for custody. Now you don't want to talk to her. So, and it's like, oh, pulling at the heartstrings. You know what I mean? So
Ian,
it stuck with me basically.
do
And
you,
then it was
sorry,
almost too much because then they're having that domestic. And
Yeah.
then and I think, oh, that again, not giving too much away. And I think, oh, that guy's a bit nasty. So it's not. Seriously, I didn't switch off because of boredom. Apart from busyness, it was just like it's actually getting quite heavy. But clearly, it stuck with me. I've got to go back because I've got to find out what happens. It's literally 5 minutes on the nose, and you've set up a lot. You've got the mystery of the first scene. What's going on? Who was that woman that won't say anymore? And then that second scene, how's it all tied? So in 5 minutes, you've set up a few questions that need answering.
Ian, do you think, with regards what you said about you were specifically targeting it for young people, ultimately they're missing out because they just want everything on a plate straight away, don't they?
Well, look, every generation thinks the other generation or the generation that precedes them is not better than their generation, and I don't think that way. I think, look, if I'm going to be living in their world, which obviously it's now becoming their world, I have to comply, and so Rebecca Gold is the latest thing I've done, and I've realized that people are like that. So what do? Do you just stick by your guns and do an old-fashioned thing so that people will get bored after the first fight, or do you comply to what they, what they're used to now? And I complied to what they're used to now. So
I just felt, for my personal taste, it just felt a little bit too high concept.
Well, I mean, I've never been accused of not doing high concept stuff.
Yes,
you're reaching too high, Mega Geek.
Yes.
Too ambitious. That's your problem.
But with what you said about you just want to go bish bash bosh, fair enough. I can see that.
I mean,
now.
it's not for me to say. I honestly think Rebecca Gold is good. It's a good little piece. And it's good. Yeah, well,
I want to see what happens.
Yeah, it's good entertainment, but as far as I'm concerned, but it's not for me to say that it's good. Really, it's up to the people that watch it, and if people don't like it, it's fine with me. I'm not forcing them to watch it. If like I've had people come up to me and say they really like it, but they didn't like this, and this. I mean, as sent me a critique, and he liked it, but there were certain things that he didn't like about it, but. No one has come up to me and said it was absolute trash. Do you know? Because it isn't absolute trash. And if they do say that, they're lying. They haven't watched it properly, because it isn't absolute trash.
Shall I tell you what annoyed me the most out of it, though? I'll let you go in a minute, Cockney. Do you not annoy the hell? And it's. Do you know sounds really stupid. The symbols on the door on the laptop.
Where
you would have the Apple logo.
Yeah.
Put this funny.
Yeah, I had to, because somebody said to me that if you have Apple, they might
go off
have a problem with it. Yeah, so I actually that was the logo of the company that she works for, this shady company that she works for. We kind of put it on there.
See, I like the logo, but then in my brain I was going, was that retouched in afterwards? But
it was,
going over time.
Oh, was it?
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
That's where all the money went.
No, because those things are easy to do.
Itself was good.
All right, those things are easy to do. There's a lot more special effects in there than you think. If you look at there's on my channel there's a visual effects reel. And if you look at that, you'll realize how many visual effects were in the actual film. But they're all very subtle that you don't see them. Right. And that's the way they should be, really.
It's funny if Apple put that restriction on, because I'm the opposite. In fact, I'm looking at my portable right now. I always cover the Apple logo anyway, because fuck them, I'm not going to give them free advertising. So
yeah, we just worried that they might have a problem with that. So that's why we got rid of the logo.
No, good on you. See, I agree with the decision. I was just obsessing about whether it's a special effect. So I'd just do it at source, basically. Slap a sticker on it. But so no, I agree to change it. Why not? Give it a different, and obviously I'll find out later what it means.
I mean, the thing is though, it doesn't matter how much effort went into making something. What matters is that people like what they see at the end of the day. And if they don't like what they see, then I guess that's their prerogative. But as I said, I can honestly, truly say I don't make rubbish. I really don't.
No, you don't.
You know,
all that for £8,000. See, the thing is, but it's an interesting point, you know, because in a way, it should be weighted, it should be skewed. You should basically get more attention the less budget you have. But it's not. It's an even playing field. But that means you're basically going up you're going up against Star Trek Discovery, because it's in a way
I've
it's
done
unfair.
better than that shite.
It's an uneven playing field by being a playing field, because you don't get extra credit for doing stuff off your own back and your own money. Meanwhile, Klutzman's got the biggest budget in the world, or a good generous budget. And he fucks up
all
everything
going
he
in their
does.
back pockets. How old is Rebecca Gold supposed to be in the? How old is the character?
Okay, so the difference between Rebecca Gold and Bad Day is more of a realistic take on the world.
Yeah.
But it's also balancing between realism and fantasy, because obviously cops don't have guns, and the organization doesn't exist, so we made up the organization. But it's more towards the realism end than. But with Rebecca Gold, it's fantasy. It's pure fantasy. If you keep watching, there are things that happen in there that is fantasy, basically.
How old is the character? How old she's supposed to be?
She didn't age. That's the thing, and that's one of the fancy elements, is that they experimented on her. And
I didn't even spot that. Right,
and
okay.
There's a line in when the both of them are talking. She says, "You don't look any different. How comes you don't look any different?" And she says, "You know, she moisturized." That was her way of out of
something
the
going
line
on with the character. Yes.
Yeah. So also, if you haven't watched all of it, there's a scene in the last episode that literally just throws everything out, and you think, well, what's up with this girl?
She gets shot, doesn't she?
Yeah, but what happens when that happens, though?
Spoiler.
Yes, I know.
Notice?
That's why why I'm saying there's something going on which we don't know yet.
Yeah, so the whole idea of Rebecca Gold is, when I cast the person to play Rebecca Gold, Katie is tiny. She's 5 foot. There's absolutely no way she could do all that stuff, but she does. And there should be a poor, instead of just saying she's 5 foot and she can do all this stuff, like the stuff that we've got now, there is a reason why she can do that. And we were leading to that. And well, hopefully in season 2, we'd explain why.
Well, that's season 2, isn't it?
Yeah, but we haven't made season 2, so.
But it's written, isn't it?
Yeah, it's written. Yeah.
But you know what? There's something. There's really something in there, because sometimes when you're watching a film or reading a book or a comic book, where there's something like, you're like, there's something not quite right, and for me, the brain goes, either the writer's really clever and there's a reason why this doesn't make sense, or they're a real idiot and they're just not thinking it through. And that's why sometimes you get like individual prejudice, because if it's Kubrick, then you're like, that's deliberate, and if it's Klutzman, you're like, he's just a fucking idiot. So it's nice to see, although I've not seen it myself, what you're alluding to is there's something incongruous that you're like, it's Mega Geek, we're in good hands here. There's a reason why.
Yeah. I tried to be too clever. The mistake that I made with Rebecca Gold is I tried to please both camps. So on the surface, when you look at Rebecca Gold, it's quite it's a no-brainer. It's quite entertaining. It's got a bit of violence in there. It's got a cute looking girl. In fact, both of the girls are quite good looking.
Oh yeah, no, I like that
and
one.
it gives you, it's kind of polished. But but beyond the surface, there's loads of things going on that I guess people don't see. Why does she still look the same? Why is it the fact that thing happened to her in the last episode? What is this organization? Why is it that what is her origin? How did she get to this point? Suddenly, how comes she's an assassin all of a sudden? And all those things was going to be explained in season 2. The whole point of Rebecca Gold is to, when it ended, for you to ask more questions, so therefore leading into, I want to see what happens next. That was the whole point. So there's loads of questions that run through the whole of that show. Plus, there's one episode which ends. A lot of people say to me they didn't expect that to happen. I don't know if you've seen all of it.
I saw the is it the abridged, the long version?
All right. So the bit where she basically does away with that guy with a pen.
La 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 la.
Oh
la.
yeah. I am not listening. I am not listening. Yeah.
So a lot of people said to me, "Wow, we never saw that coming." And you know, what does that mean? What does that say about her character? You know, because she's really cute and she talks a lot and she cracks all these jokes, but then she does this really terrible thing. You know, and
Well,
that's
it's murder.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I wanted to introduce. I wanted to make you think this character was doing this, but then suddenly she does something that goes right, you know, that goes left, and you're like wondering about her. And that's the whole point. We wanted you to ask questions. The whole series was made up so that we wanted you to ask questions. Therefore, you wanting to know more. Hopefully, therefore, you're going into season 2, and that's the reason why it was done that way.
As I said, for me, it was very high concept, and I think you've kind of just confirmed all that. But
yeah,
I am. Yeah, you've told me things that I knew was there, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together. So yeah, I want to see season 2. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. If somebody makes something, okay, and there's holes in the plot, and you know, and you go, look, there's holes in the plot, and the guy doesn't have an explanation for it. Sometimes you watch a film and you think there's a hole in the plot, and then you watch it again and you realize you missed something.
Yeah,
right.
There really isn't a hole in a plot.
It's not a plot hole, it's a watcher hole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes you miss things and stuff like that. And I made damn sure that every point in Rebecca Gull, there is an explanation for it, or there is a question that you want answering. So when I was writing it, I made sure that it connected, all of it connected. So, but you know, people do sometimes they don't see it, and you know.
Well,
yeah, I like that. I like it already because that is high concept. There's aiming high basically, because that means that we, the viewer, have to do a little bit of work to get that reward.
Mate, I know nothing, but I picked up on that straight away.
But as I said, you know, a lot of people don't have the patience anymore to watch stuff. You know, that's the thing. The only time they have patience to watch stuff is when they go to the cinema. That's why I'm really upset that the cinema's closed, because it's the only time you concentrate on something that's on the screen.
And you can just drop out of life for 2 hours. I know,
yeah, exactly.
And that's why cinemas are so good. And the sooner they're open, the better.
A lot of people complain, oh, is somebody at the back, he's chewing his popcorn. But I say that's all part of going to the cinema.
It is.
You know, paying the horrible amount of money for popcorn and a Coke. That's all part of it, you know. I remember once somebody said to me,
shall we chocolate?
Yeah. Somebody said to me, shall we go to the shops and just get a load of stuff and stick it in our bags? And I was like, where's the fun in that? I like the popcorn that they serve, and you know, I like sitting there with the popcorn in my hand and the stupid size, you know, Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
you want the 32 ounce of the large?
Yeah, you know,
cheesy nachos.
You end up not eating that stuff anyway, because that's why you got cleaners that come up. You know, you just leave it there. But I love that idea.
It's part of the tradition, isn't it?
Exactly, and you take that away, it's not really. You know, it's not really.
So what you're saying, Ian? You buying a dustbin full of popcorn is keeping cleaners in employment.
Well, it's not the cleaners, is it? It's the ushers that have to clean it all up before the next screening, don't they?
Here you go, boys. Sorry. I think Real is in Australia.
What did the other fella say just now? That one you took off?
We'll get back to that in a second.
All right. Cinemas are open here. Oh, right.
I think Real's in Australia, so that's kind of expected, to be fair.
You're making me feel like going to the cinema. I'll have to see. We've got a cinema.
You should do. Cinema, brilliant.
I will. I feel, I should take advantage while it's here.
Here we go. I think he means you, Ian, because I haven't switched on. Knowing how switched on Ian is made me want to watch it. I'll always enjoy something that doesn't insult my intelligence.
Yeah, seconded.
I hope it doesn't. I'm just saying, I hope it doesn't. But as I said, right, I remember when Bad Day came out, okay, and it got released on DVD and Blu-ray, and there's a newspaper here called Metro. Do you remember the Metro used to be free?
Yeah.
And I remember they did a review in it and they slated it. They went, this film looks like it was shot on a mobile phone. It's so badly done. The performances are terrible. Why is Claire Goose in this awful movie? And it was obvious that the person that wrote that had not seen the film. right? So
Wow.
and
And
even
that
if he
annoyed you, didn't it?
no, it didn't annoy me. Even if he did see the film, I
Would
keep
have
saying
annoyed
to
me.
myself,
It would have annoyed me.
he's entitled to his opinion. It really doesn't bother me, unlike other filmmakers that would go out the way not to look at bad reviews. I look at bad reviews, and if they make sense, then that's me learning for the
But I mean,
next time.
it does help if you watch the film. I mean, admittedly,
Well-
I've done a review of Tenet without watching it, but that's because I was being ironic because of the nature of
Mm.
Tenet.
But-
Review it first, watch it second.
Me and Cockney have discussed at length. I've got no problem
Cockney
with
and
any,
I
sorry, Cockney and I.
can't
Yeah.
help it. It's like a reflex. sorry.
I've
I
got
did it
no
to Sklavko as well.
problem
Sorry,
with anybody
everyone.
being clever or
Yeah.
critical, as long as they're 100% right and they can back it up. Whereas going back to what you said, that they reviewed your film and you said that they hadn't even watched it, so
Well, I
that would annoy the
don't
fuck out
know.
of me, that would.
I got the impression that they didn't, but
Yeah,
by the
'cause-
things they're saying. But I mean, a prime example of that, and I know that Cockney would agree, is Blade Runner. When I first saw Blade Runner, I thought it was one of the worst films I've ever seen. I like the special effects, I like this, that, ever. But then when you grow up and you realize, and you watch it with an adult's eye, then
Yeah.
you realize that the film is good to a certain degree. And also I at that moment in time I got into film noir. And then I realized Blade Runner was a film noir, and I watched it again.
Yeah.
And then I appreciate it more. It's
Thinking about that, it is
In the chat viewing.
It's an age grower. Real honest, he's an assassin. I am a cleaner. I hate people like you.
But I'm just saying that sometimes you can make mistakes with movies. I mean, I don't know. There's loads of films that I
Do you know
saw
what?
and then suddenly
No,
realized weren't too bad.
Maybe
know?
instead of an age category system, there should be like an intelligence category system. Cop buddy car chase. That's like category 1, and then up to category 7, you've got to think really hard, Kubrick level.
Yeah,
Swap-
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Swap Shop says you have to pay for Metro now. I didn't know.
Oh shoot, really?
What?
It was free. I remember it was free.
It
It
was
used to be on
worth
the
the price
tubes
for
and
the-
stuff.
It wasn't
Yeah.
worth it when it was
Yeah, it was one
free,
of-
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That was one of the first periodicals to publish a letter of mine. I was very happy with Metro. Good editorial policy. Published
Yeah.
a good couple of my letters. They did. Well done.
But
them.
also another thing that people don't realize as well, some films are made for the cinema. Like for instance, if you watch True Lies, which I watched True
Oh,
Lies in the
yes.
cinema, I thoroughly enjoyed it because I was with the crowd and the crowd laughed at every joke. And the at that moment in time, seeing a horse ride through a hotel lobby was fantastic. And the big what is it, the Harriet jump jet scene at the end
Yeah,
was
amazing.
amazing. And then we see it on DVD or you see it in your own home, and it's just okay. Do you know what I mean?
Not
So
quite
it's
there, yes.
there are films made for the cinema,
Yeah.
And
Also, those meta things. Any cinema film where they're actually in the cinema, like when Mickey Rourke's sticking his thing in the popcorn, and you could be like, "Oh, that's funny. I'm in the cinema. I'm sticking my thing in the popcorn too."
There you go,
How
guys.
funny.
There's a lot of love
Or-
coming in from the chat.
Or-
'Cause
remember, anyone
to be
remember
fair,
Des-
we've had Cockney, we've had good numbers on this stream, and they've stuck with us. To be fair,
I'm just going to plough through because it's on point. Anyone remember
Sorry, mate.
Desperately Seeking Susan?
yeah,
See, Desperately Seeking Susan's worth seeing in the Bleecker Street Cinema because there's a scene where one of the characters goes, "Take me to the Bleecker Street Cinema," and he'd be like, "Hang on a minute, I'm in the Bleecker Street Cinema."
yeah,
That kind of meta thing.
yeah.
There's not going to
Yeah.
be a film that goes, take me to Mr. Brown's house. That'd be a bit weird if they.
Oh,
well,
no,
Mega
stay away.
Geek, put. I request if and when you do season 2 of Rebecca Gold, put in a scene where they go, take me to Courtney Spock's garage where he's currently living. Because
Well, you
know,
me.
That's easy to do.
If Ian,
That's my request.
if there's going to be, as I've said before, if there's going to be a toxic white male that needs blowing away, please.
Well, it's fine.
please,
I could do that.
please,
It's just
please.
it's hard to make. A lot of people don't realize it's hard to make a web series because first of all, nobody's getting paid, and you have to go on the goodwill of everybody. Second of all, the reason why web series don't work is because they don't have enough money to do it right, and they hire people that can't act, and it's badly shot and stuff like that. But now it's getting to a point where people are spending money on web series. So
Yeah.
and I didn't want to make that kind of web series where people were just talking on a webcam. I wanted to do a drama, and that's what I did. So
Well,
But,
I would spend my own money to come down on the train
okay,
if I could be blown away with some squibs or something. I'd love that.
I'll tell you what, Mega Geek, put you right on the spot. Admittedly, the viewing of the two things was, Bad Day and Rebecca Gold totaled less than 7.5 minutes. But at the end, I was thinking, I think I want Mega Geek to direct my script. Putting you on the spot.
But
I'm going to submit when I've written it. That is, I'm going to submit my script
All
to
right.
you, and then I'll be on the spot. You'll be going, well, thanks, Cockney, but it's shite.
But you know what? Let me just tell you this brief story, okay? Right? Because I, as I tell you, I had a business partner. His name was Julian. God bless his soul. He died recently, but he got really pissed off with the people that made Lock Stock, okay? Because there was this article in the Guardian about Lock Stock and how Guy Ritchie struggled to make the film and had hardly any money, and eventually he made it, and it's become this, one of Britain's finest movies, which it is, tell you the truth. But
It's a good film.
the story that they said about them struggling isn't true at all, right? So basically, Guy Ritchie is an Oxford guy, came from Oxford, he went to Oxford and stuff like that, and majority of the people that worked on that film were from the industry, whether it be TV or film. Yeah, so basically, what they kind of played on the story that they had no money, and when we knew that they did have money. And there's that story that they ran out of money and they had 150p and they put it into a phone box to ring up Sting to ask him for some money. Sting. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he was pissed off because we were the real McCoy. When we made The Killing Zone, we had only £14,000 to shoot on Super 16. Right, and we did that, and the film is well known. So we were that story. But
they actually stole your story. Do you know what? That triggered something else. They actually stole their story. It triggered a long dormant memory in the Spock brain. I do believe that Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is not actually an original story. There's a shorter, lesser known Channel 4 film or similar. I'm sure this is searchable on the internet. The Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was actually based. So what am I doing?
Not Wild Bill, is it?
I'm going to look it up. Probably. So they not only stole the original story, they stole your story of the story of how they made the story. Fucking wankers.
Well, it's not. I don't think they obviously stole the story, but they made up the story that they really were. They may really have been under a lot of pressure to make it, whatever. But they were in far more comfortable position to make their film than we were. Do you know what I mean? Because we are the real McCoys.
It's got the connections as well, I bet.
Yeah. We had no connections whatsoever. We were making film. Nobody was getting paid. We took 2 weeks to shoot on Super 16. You know how difficult that is. We had hardly any sleep. I remember going to bed at 5 in the morning, having 1 hour sleep, then getting up to get to the set for 6 o'clock, and then it just go round and round. So for The Killing Zone, we won an award as well for The Killing Zone. We won it in America.
Lots of love coming in on the chat from Swap Shop. He can come on here anytime. Sorry.
Yeah, go back to the I can say it's almost worth interrupting us to hear big props from Swap Shop.
Here you go, this is one.
We're the best channel ever. I won't do the accent. Honestly, guys, this channel is better. We're not mentioning any names. Than the 200k subs, folks.
And he follows it up with this. Swap Shop can come on here anytime he wants.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice
great
to talk.
dynamic going on. No interruptions. Sorry, go on. You read it. What you say?
No, go ahead.
You got a great dynamic going on with the panel every time. Sharp, informative, and genuinely funny. I think that's Ian. That is. I feel like he's going to write an Amazon review. He feels like he's writing an Amazon review. It's only a matter of time before a lot more people realise.
Tipping point is coming, everyone. The tipping.
Did anybody listen to the Drinkers Star Trek 5?
I listened to 5 minutes of it.
Me too.
They're very funny. They're very funny.
It triggered something actually. It triggered one point that we could probably.
Drinkers clueless on those, by the way.
Oh, I'll tell you,
it's good at his videos.
Yeah, but you should look. There should be a rule, right? I will never. I mean, it's all right to review films and say how bad it is and stuff like that. But the one thing I would never do is I would never attack anyone personally. You know, I mean, yeah, it's okay to say that Drinkers stream, you didn't think much of it.
Well,
But
I didn't, to be fair.
yeah, but to actually attack someone is not. It's not really
I-
cricket, if you know what I mean.
I
So
apologise. Sorry, you're
Fair
yeah,
right.
we
point.
shouldn't really do that. We should just,
Well-
you know, talk about what they produced
it-
rather than
Do you
them.
know
What-
what? 2 points on that point. Sorry, jumping in. One, I hate fucking people that interrupt all the time. I hate this. That's not even one of the 2. So 3 points. 2, I'm having a bit of a beef with someone at the moment, or more at the point because I really respect what you're saying there, Mega Beak. Mega Geek.
Mega Beak. Beak.
It's more they're having a beef with me. So I just want to say, anyone out there that I'm having an issue with, or is that
Yeah, he's having
an
a
issue
beef
with me,
with somebody at the moment.
I don't have beef. I'm just a loving person. I've learned that from Burnett and from you two. Love and respect to everyone. If I've gone too far, I apologise. Let's all peace out. Hug it out, you bitches. And point 3, it was something that Problem being tweeted. I think it was a quote by Robert Anston Winston. I'm so lack of sleep, I can't even get his name right, let alone the quote. But it's basically something like, wankers talk, this isn't verbatim, wankers talk about people, reasonable people talk about things, and geniuses talk about concepts. So it's something like that. And so, which dovetail on 130 into a specific thing that came up, is that one of the people, because I won't mention him by name, so I'm not the wanker on the bottom of that pyramid, but he brought up basically something Star Trek 5, but I interpret it this way. And I was thinking, hang on a minute, you're the same person jumping down everyone's throat for having a different opinion on whether Deckard's a replicant on Blade Runner. So I'm not going to talk about that specific person.
He thinks it's a dream.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about the specific examples, so we can talk about Blade Runner and Star Trek all day. But I'm also right that the top of the pyramid is to get to the concept, and the concept is, this is what I'm getting around to. Could be a whole nother chat. The concept is, what is important when you go into the suspension of disbelief and believe that film? Do you accept that the intention of the writer and director, and that's assuming it's the same thing, is king? What they say is king because they intended the story. You know the story's fiction. Like you said, Mega Geek, Doctor Who isn't actually real. Therefore, if you're watching Doctor Who or Star Trek or Star Wars or Blade Runner, what they intended is real. Or do you go ahead canon? Because my point is, you can't be fickle Bobby. You've got to pick and choose one. Know what I mean? Could be a whole chat for another time.
Well, yeah, it's up to the individual, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's up to them, really. You know, as I said, for me, and I know you disagree, for me, Deckard was human because it flies in the face of the whole first film that he was disgusted by killing them, and you know, and that whole dynamic between he fell in love with a replicant as a human.
Back to the Blade Runner. But you see, the more general thing is what came up in our
always goes back to Blade Runner.
But what is interesting, well, this is the whole thing. Rather than just going back and forth on it, I'm trying to learn from you guys, specifically from you two, from Swap Shop, and from Maya Burnett, is that do we just obsessively try and find out what Ridley Scott wanted, or do we accept that the film as it is, you can take your own things from it, and then you can get into some films are deliberate. This is actually one of the things I covered in my many videos on it. Is some films are deliberately vague, like the ending of The Italian Job, and some films are accidentally vague because they're actually poorly written, and so that's where you go to auteur intent versus headcanon. Because I'm more into auteur intent. If the person making the film intended something a certain way, we should take it that way. But equally, I'm a bit of a fickle Bobby because I'm doing headcanon. I disavow Star Wars disgracery. So I'm mixing up me franchises, but as Swap Shop calls it, the sequel tragedy, copyright Swap Shop, 7 to 9 isn't canon. Although you could go deeper than that and go, well, it's because Lucas didn't write it. So that's my excuse.
But it doesn't, at the end of the day, right, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day what people think of what franchise or whatever, what they're doing with it. It really doesn't matter, okay? As I said, take the case of Blade Runner, okay? I suspect that when Ridley Scott finished making that film and they looked at it, everyone was of the agreement that he was human. What the question didn't exist. It's only when they started remaking it and saying this is the ultimate version, this, that, the other. That's when the discussion started.
Yeah.
But when it originally was made, there was no question that he was human.
Do you know what? It's such a complex topic. Someone needs to write a book called Is Deckard
Really?
a Replicant?
To
I
be
think
to be
so.
fair, I would agree with Ian totally, because when I first saw it many years ago, it was the narrated version.
Yeah.
And I'd have thought, yeah, human.
Yeah, everybody thought he was
even
human.
cross my mind. Didn't even cross
But
my
you
mind.
see, you can step back and go, but that's the whole thing, is do we obsessively try and work out what Ridley Scott wanted? And now that even breaks down to, but what about if Ridley Scott wanted something different from the script writer? And there's two script writers.
Maybe he just kept tweaking it just to get
Yeah,
people to buy it.
But,
Yeah,
that's why I got to a book, because there's basically, it brings up 17 different questions, which then you can apply to other films. If it's based on a novel, he was definitely human in the novel. Is that a factor? Some people say, some go, well, no, it's different. Like the same way in Game of Thrones, Catherine Tate, I know it's soap, but what's her face, turned into Lady Stoneheart. Yeah, or Mary Campbell. Benson.
But it doesn't. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, because as a film,
Chapter 18, does it matter?
yeah, it doesn't. As a film fan, right, I appreciate what I've seen, you know, and I debate about it, of course, right. But at the end of the day, it's whatever. Like, for instance, if somebody was talking about Bad Day and they didn't like it, and they came up with loads of reasons why they didn't like it, at the end of the day, that's fine with me, because you know, it's neither here or there. It's made. It's part of history. You know, you take it or you leave it. That's
question,
the way I see it.
Is Rebecca Gold a replicant?
You'll have to find out in season 2.
Oh.
So you'll have to
I
find
was going to say, Ian, knowing what I know now,
yeah,
she's a Cylon,
and I'm kind of taking an educated guess here. Are you going to have the budget for season 2?
I already have the budget, but
and are you going to be able to do it how you want to do it?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Right.
To do it really well, you need a crap load of money. But the one thing I've learned through a series called Fringe, I keep mentioning this, is that
Fringe,
you can't have
I was going to watch it, but I was watching Rebecca Gold.
You can't have a series that doesn't develop. Right. And also, right, like, for instance, I'll give you an example, right? X-Files, okay, is from start to finish, from season 1 to the crappy seasons, back to when he came back, when Duchovny came back to the series. It was the same thing. It was the monster of the week. The characters never grew. They end up kissing in the movie. But nothing changed in X-Files. It was the same throughout all those seasons. But when you look at, but yeah, they did in the movie.
They got married.
And they got married. Yeah. That's the only thing that changed. But the actual concept of the series was the same, day in, day out. But when you look at Fringe, and this is the reason why I liked Fringe so much, is that season 1 had completely changed the concept in season 2, and then in season 2, the concept changed in season 3. Therefore, it was a growth that was happening with the characters, with the show, and it kept you there all the time. So that's what I'm saying. That's when I decided to create a series like Rebecca Gold. I decided, right, I'm going to show the audience one thing, and then it's going to evolve again to another thing and another thing and another thing. And I think that's the way shows should be, to keep you on your toes. Like, for instance, if you're watching, let's take a really famous show. If you're watching Star Trek, and suddenly season 2, the Enterprise is a living being. And you're like, what? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I like shows like that, where it literally takes something and the concept becomes something else. Obviously, that's an extreme.
No, there was an episode in TNG where the ship effectively gave birth.
But
the Millennium Falcon, that's now conscious being too, isn't it?
Oh, God.
According to Solo lost money.
Yeah.
But it did lose money.
It did lose money. Well, that goes back to my point. You see, I don't like that idea. Do you accept it as canon? Do we have the right to reject it?
Who cares? I appreciate the stuff that I've seen. You know, the Han Solo will always be the Han Solo in the first 3 movies, history-wise. The first 3 movies that was made.
Agreed.
You know, and he'll never be the person that walked out on Princess Leia. He'd never be the person that had a horrible son. Never.
Exactly. But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm fickle Bobby too, then, because I'm taking it upon myself to reject the Disney tragedy. But as I say, me consistency arguments, I can't accuse myself of being fickle Bobby, is that it wasn't written by George Lucas, and that's why it doesn't count. It's Disney bollocks. If Disney bought Star Trek, Well, it's the same with Klutzman. It's not. It's Star Trek in name only, isn't it? So I
Yeah.
think that's our get out clause. I do respect author intention, unless the author's basically J.J. Abrams or Klutzman, in which case I disrespect it thoroughly.
Yeah.
Trying to be consistent with my inconsistency.
I'm trying. I'm a huge fan of TV shows and films and stuff like that. And when you see something that's great, it never leaves you. Like I don't know what you guys think of Mr. Robot, but I thought Mr. Robot was Mr. Robot was in the first season, and bits of the last season was incredible TV, absolutely incredible, from the direction to the way. There was no such thing as dead space. You know what dead space is on a frame of film and a frame of TV?
Is that the opposite of Talking Heads?
No. So
okay.
So I think it was done before, but I think Mr. Robot actually put it in the consciousness of filmmakers and TV makers. For instance, have you not noticed that in some shots in Mr. Robot, the person that's on the frame, his head's all the way down. At the right hand of the screen, you just see his head and his shoulders, and everything else is just dead space.
Oh, you mean
right?
Like so physical composition?
Yes. So they basically the guy
that was
the guy that made up the show threw those rules out, and just shot those scenes so that it will give you an uneasy feeling of dead space. So when you watch, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that goes back to what you were saying. It's like it might look like a mistake, but that's the whole point. You're actually in the hands of a good director doing it deliberately.
Yeah. And there's this one episode in the last season which I thought was absolutely brilliant. Basically, they had to break into this computer room and adjust the computer and fix the program in the computer.
Spoilers.
Right? And they're in a car, and him and his sister's in the car, and his sister says to him, "Okay, I know you're mad at me. You don't have to say a word." And that whole episode, they never said anything. No one said a word in that whole episode at all. No one's uttered a line in that episode. And it ends up in a chase where the police is chasing him and he doesn't say a word, and he escapes at the ending. And that episode was freaking excellent as far as I'm concerned. The guy was taking chances when they made Mr. Robot. So to me, that's really great TV. To me, that's really doing something new, trying something new.
One of my friends told me that when Mr. Robot first came out, that I should be watching it, and that's on my to watch list.
It is a good show. And what's his name?
Rami Malek and was Christian Slater in it?
Yes, he was. They both give great performances, and the twist in season 1 was great, even though I saw it come in a mile away. And there's a line that he says when he's the character of the main character. He's in it because there's something wrong with him. He goes to the psychiatrist woman that talks to him, and there's that line where he talks about the web, and he talks about how people are influenced by certain things today, and it's happening today. It's so right on. I think it's on YouTube. If you type in Mr. Robot's speech when he talks about social media, everything he says about social media is just bang on of what's happening today. So that's what I'm saying. I think the show was really, really well done.
So everybody should watch Mr. Robot.
Waxing lyrical me.
Okay.
So.
And then that twist, he goes on to Wembley Stadium to perform as Meeting with Queen. Didn't see that twist coming.
yeah. I didn't think he looked nothing like Freddie Mercury, in my opinion.
See, that's the mark of a good actor, isn't it? He's done good 3 or 4 roles, and he's basically quite the chameleon.
Yeah.
It was a good film. I enjoyed it, but
yeah.
Shall we call it a draw on that then, boys? Because I've got stuff to do, and the viewers are kind of dropping off.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Ian, thank you for popping on, mate. As always,
I definitely spoke too much on this one. I should.
No, mate. No,
it was all golden. It was quality. I'm telling you, one of those episodes. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it myself. There's some good stuff on here.
If you've got nothing to say, fair enough. But we get you on here because it's quality. So when we stop asking you, start worrying. Yes.
Wow, I guess.
Okay,
Anyway.
I'll obviously I'll post a link to Rebecca Gold and Bad Day. Everybody in the chat should watch it. It's free to watch and it's pretty good, to be fair. Doom Spock, cheers, mate.
Yep. Cheers, everyone.
Cockney.
Yeah,
Cheers.
I second that emotion. Everyone, watch the fuck out of Rebecca Gold and Bad Day.
Yeah,
Do better
everybody
than me. Try and do
in the chat
10 minutes at a time at least.
or who have stuck with it, please like, share, subscribe to this channel. As I've said many times, we are nada without you guys. So if you like it, tell your friends, get them to subscribe. We may pop up later, maybe tomorrow. The Nooner seems to be quite popular. So all I can say is cheers to the Mega Geek. Cheers to Doomspock and you guys
Dziękuję.
in the chat.
Do widzenia.
Fabulous, as always.
Jak się
Bye,
ma?
everybody. Take care.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
See you later. Ta-da.